All righty then, away we go. Welcome everybody to today's call. It is Friday, April the 16th of 2021, and this is the Realty Classroom sales training call. So I know that a lot of you sent me some calls here, and I am going to go get those. I just brought them up while I was preparing, and I'm going to take them in order. Remember, please don't send these to me early in the week. I mean, the day before is as far back in my email as I'm going to be able to go to try to keep a semblance of order. So let's just make sure that, that's the way that we deal with this here. So let me get myself over there. And Alan, I think you're the first one. You there, bud?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Karen and I are on the phone.
Hi, Karen. So what I have is Alan. Yeah, right, correct. And then Carla had slipped one in between, so I'll go to hers after you. But I'm going to take this first one. Why don't we just go ahead?
Go ahead. I think the first one's just a short. I think that's the shorter of the two. And
Okay.
I apologize. I can't find my note on that.
Okay.
Because I sent them in, not Karen.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's see.
I appreciate it. Hello, it's Liam.
I'm sorry, this is who?
This is Liam. Who's this?
William, my name is Karen, and I'm calling with Allen Luxury Homes. I'm calling you.
We're not. Are you looking to buy, or are you looking to help us sell our wood side of?
I'm looking to help you sell.
Yeah, we're not interested.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No. Yeah, have a nice day.
All right. Let's just deal with it right off the bat. It's simple. It's a simple critique. It's the lack of the preparation, right? And again, I know it's early on for you. So it's, there's not much you can do about that when you first start making these calls. I know this is a new industry for telemarketing for you. I like that you fight through it a little bit. That's a good sign that there's a scrappiness in there. But when you start off and you're saying, who's this? That's a kiss of death. Recovering from that with a high D like him is, 1%. And so you can't do that. You have to have the name in front of you that you believe you're calling, and you have to, with confidence and authority, very quickly say, Liam, ? Period, over, done, and let him answer. Because then you have to get that next 4 beats out very smoothly, very efficiently. So what happens here, and it's good to bring it up early on the call, because what's happening is we end up hearing how subtle it is and why we're not successful in any sales situation. But telemarketing has the most pressure to it. They can't see us, so they can blow us off with not really feeling bad. You're just a voice, and it doesn't mean anything. If they saw us and we're in the house or face to face, it's much harder to be rude like that. And it's not really rude. It's his time. We're invading into his time. We crash into it, and we're unprepared. And so why should he sweat that? So you can't blame him for doing this, right? So if I'm going to play it again, and I want everybody to hear what I mean, it's very simple. It's just not prepared to say his name with a question mark. Now, the only other thing that might throw you off is if you have one name. So we've had plenty of leads. We have one person's name, and it's a male versus a female, whatever, right? So now you hear a voice that you perceive to be a female voice, and you have a male's name. I get it. I get that. And we're going to have to deal with the reality of that moment. So there you go. That's the idea. And, and again, let's live in a modern context. The concept of man and woman is changing every day. So we're all we have is this tone, and we're having difficulty just addressing people, right? So just stick to the concept of name. If you want to really be authentic in today's day and age, say the name you have with a question mark, no matter what the tone sounds like. That would be my default to be accurate in the way that you would deal with sales in this modern age. Just say the name with a question mark. Let them correct that. Let them say yes. Let them say he's not here, she's not here, they're not here. Right? There we go. So we're authentic in that moment. But let's listen to it again so we understand it against the backdrop. And again, Karen's brand new to this. So what are you going to say other than this proves the point that overtraining, Alan, is too much. It's just too much, right? Say the name, question mark, and don't worry about what you're about to say. Slow it down. I don't care how rough they are. We're going to lose some. That's part of training. So let's just listen to this again. Here we go.
I appreciate it. Hello, it's Liam.
I'm sorry. This is who?
This is Liam. Who's this?
Okay, 10 seconds to get that far. So long time, right? Now, he's talking to somebody else when he answers the phone. He could be a sales guy. He's got ADD, whatever. 10 seconds tells us a lot. So we're up against it. So we have to be the authority here very clearly, okay? So here we go.
William, my name is Karen, and I'm calling with Allen Luxury Homes. I'm calling you.
We're not. Are you looking to buy, or are you looking to help us sell our wood side of?
I'm looking to help you sell.
Yeah, we're not interested.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No. Yeah, have a nice day.
I think I might have the
Okay, I think I might have what?
Wrong number.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Karen can answer. I might have what?
Karen, you're going to have to unmute your phone. Hello. There. That unmute. There you go.
Morning.
Hi, how are you?
I was trying to approach it because it threw me off. First off, it threw me off because my name on my call sheet was for Peter or Kieran, and then when he said William, that threw me off right off the bat.
Yeah, he actually says, hold on. Yeah, hold on. He actually says Liam, right?
I thought it was William, but still, again, you know, I didn't stop to think to go with Peter and question it
Sure.
was Peter.
Perfect. Great.
It just threw me off.
Yeah,
so.
great. So that's why we do live calls, because they give us a real next time. Next time, just say the name with a question mark, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, and then the next thing, Alan, is you got to look at why do we have a Peter when a Liam answers the phone, right? Do we have a bigger problem here when it comes to, this whole situation, right? With data.
With Vulcan 7, yeah.
Data. Yeah. Do we have bad data? I mean, we can't set her up for failure with bad data. That's the point, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you're gonna look into that when we get off of here too. Let's go to the next one. Karen, it's
Hey, Danny.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, hang on, everybody. Karen, you there?
Yes.
It's fine. Okay.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's fun.
It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Oh, okay.
F-I-N-E.
Thank you.
It's fine, because this is what we want. We want you to crash into this stuff so that we have a real thing to say. All right, breathe. I know you have a background as a telemarketer, but this is brand new to you, right?
Yes.
It is. It's different. You've done real estate before, but you've done, like, to me, the garbage stuff, the buyer leads on the internet, and it's just sort of this no-brain thing. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. It's going to be a little bit heavier. We're asking these people to consider our information and then our insight, and it's going to be different. So we just have to slow it down. It's all good. This is a very difficult guy to deal with for a veteran or rookie alike. Okay. So I want to
why couldn't she have just asked for Peter?
That's the point. That's the correction here. She can. That's the correction. The corrective advice is the name with a question mark. Let's move on with whatever they say from there, right? So that is the correction here. That is the coaching moment, that against the training, say the name with a question mark, okay? And even if, and again, I would, hang on. I would default also to even doing it when you hear a tone that you might not think is Peter. I'll leave it at that. I want to try to stay politically correct here with pronouns, etc., because I think that is appropriate. And I think you better be careful, because there are going to be things that, become a problem like that. Right? With me? Sorry, mate.
Danny?
Yep, glad I get distracted. My phone popped off with the live
when
broadcast.
he said, "Are you calling me to sell my house?" would a better response have been, "No, I'm calling because I noticed your property didn't sell, and I wanted to send you some information the next time you were to put it on the market that'll help you."
Oh, well, Alan, do you really need to ask that?
Well, because I'm thinking what you would say, and Karen and I talked a little bit about this last night. You and Autumn would have said, "Go stick with the script."
Okay, so Alan, hold on. You're getting off track. I asked you a very simple question. Did you really have to ask me that question? Because it was the perfect advice. So don't ask it. Don't get the question mark. Get rid of the question mark, right? You need to be, as her guide, the authority that says, just tell him what we got for him. Remember what we're doing here. You just guys, in my mind's eye, you two spent too much time preparing for this moment. It'll be the same thing with Kathy, who's joined our telemarketing team. Enough. I need her to have a little bit of me, sure. But once we think Turbo Dial's working, once we've just expanded a whole bunch of areas, both for Autumn, who's now more productive, and Kathy, who's going to expand. I just want them to make real calls, because real calls allow us to make real adjustments. Follow? But what do we train on is a good point, because it's everything in our TCM formula. We train on, we have some information for you. Well, what do you have for me? I have 5 or 6 properties plus a copy of the plan we customize. Like to send it to you free, no obligation. Period. So absolutely yes is my answer to you. A resounding yes. I just didn't like the question mark at the end of it, because what you're doing, and you're so planned, right? That we just want to like fall forward. And in other words, you know the planning, you know the training. So just look at Karen and say, Karen, just tell them what we got for them, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect though.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. All right, next, and Autumn's right. It's that name with the question mark that's in front of you. Just keep moving, like keep moving. We don't. If we start to get, we get, and that's normal, by the way. What Karen's feeling is like being thrown off, especially early on, is normal. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot of pressure. You're going to come on these calls with me and we're going to beat this up. And I get it. But this is a safe family environment. We need to know this so that when he send you back out there with loaded gun and bullets, you just calm down a little bit, right? Just calm down. Stick to the yellow brick system. And you were trying to ask a question there or make a comment there. I thought I heard your voice too.
Yes. So what do you do when it is a man's name that you're looking at and a woman answers?
You could say something like, I was looking for Peter. Is Peter there?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just, again, I think keep it short though, Ann. I think it's more so if we feel or they feel in us our confusion, we're dead, right?
Yeah.
But if they sense in us our authority, they're going to lean in. Okay. Very important. And in the script, as you know, when we break down these beats, we actually, I'll bring the script up here for the sake of the call too, so that we can see it. The idea is when we are really leaning in on the things that we do, there are laws of human behavior behind this. This is not Danny's opinion. I have worked thousands of hours to try to find out what laws are dictating how we do. Let's leave it at that, right? What laws are dictating how we do? So I'll show my screen here, and Karen, so I really truly illustrate the point. Because if you don't connect to the why we do this, then it feels like I'm just beating on you to remember something, right? But it's sort of like in military training. Why am I beating on you to live with your gun for the first whatever number of weeks? It's because that's like going to save your life, right? This will save your life in that moment in time. So that's in our world, that's this law of authority. Can you see where I am? Okay, good. So that whole thing, it's so dang subtle. And that's why we have to be obsessive about details on a call like this. This is one of those microeconomic calls. A lot of the times with the mastermind members, I'll chunk it up and I'll get into macroeconomics of telemarketing as a medium for the delivery of this, okay? But coming down here into this micro, that one line, I can even make a case what Autumn was saying, the name with a question mark. Why can't she just say his name with a question mark? That is bringing it down to the most micro introduction we can talk about. Ann? Is Ann there? If you really think it's way off and you don't think, it's Peter, is Peter there? Go for it. I mean, there's no perfect answer to this because we have the variable of a human on the other side, and that variable of how they will react and the variables of how they feel today. There's too many. There's just too many. And that's why a system protects us. If we will just stay there in that pocket and just know, and I know it feels like we're trying to turn ourselves into automatons, but in truth, we are, until it becomes appropriate to be very human. When somebody starts to throw up their sadness or their pain or their reason that they're doing this, sure, you can lean in and listen. But right now, it's critical that you let them know without a lot of noise. Imagine yourself, I say this all the time, okay? I always have, sorry, Kathy Dillon, here comes another one of my analogies. She's never heard me coach before last night in the Griffin. And so she said, I've never heard so many analogies. And it's because analogies will get in your brain and stick as a movie. So I've always said this, imagine you're a nurse and you're living in your house and all of a sudden you hear a small plane crash in your backyard. You reach down and you grab your nursing bag and you go out and you start like, right? And you start stuttering and somebody yells at you, get away from me. And here you are with this bag of tools that could save their life. So shame on you for not really understanding emergency moments. And coming right through and just saying, and a lot of people still won't accept it. Hey, dum-dum, be quiet. I have bandages in here and you are bleeding. That's authority at an extreme, okay? And you have to grab that bull by the horns to quote unquote save that life. Well, of course, that's an analogy in nursing where life or death is the matter. But psychologically and in their lifestyle, this really matters to these people. Right? It really does. And even though you get a guy like that, that's kind of a know-it-all or I'm not interested, that's because every knucklehead who showed up and talked like that to him before you has jaded him. But if you can cut through all that noise with authority, and I help you do that by sticking to something, boom, boom. It's like a slap in the face. Hey, no. Hey, I got something for you. Stop. Whoa. Don't be afraid to be that person. We're not asking you to be shrinking violets. We want you to be the aggressive nurse who says, look it, hold on. Let me just get this out of my mouth. Please show me just a quick minute of respect. That might be more your internal dialogue, but I wouldn't even have a problem if you were trying to learn on how to control one of these wild horses like this guy. Go right into it. You know what I mean? Go right into it. Don't be an apologetic when you have the toolkit that can save them. Okay?
Got it.
Good. All right. Karen, that was good. I mean, that's a good start. And Alan, that's a good chunk for us to work with, right?
I agree. I was grateful. I'm very glad that she made this call yesterday. We had it today to share.
Yep. Well, because again, you now know as her manager per se, that you were wasting time at some point because she can get all nervous about what if, what will be. That's that kind of weird over preparation people do. That's why I'm very reluctant to do role play on this call. It's not real. The real variables of a human being and their day and their timing are absent. If you want to do role play with each other, all of you, do it. Reach out to each other and you can do it. But ultimately, the idea is you are not going to be able to replicate a real live call. It won't happen, right?
Until it happens.
You got
Danny, I think role playing with, each other is an excellent way to get the rhythm going and to go through the objections so that you're athletically ready, as you would say.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want to do it on a call like this.
No, I totally agree.
Because you know why, Gail? I get the delicious real steak of a real human being on the other side, right? To me, that's delicious. I want to teach what's real, and you should all train your brain over and over and over, like Gail just said, to play out these things because your recall is at the subconscious level with speed. So the benefit of training the script with each other, and again, I would reach out to each other in this group. You all know internally who you are. Reach out and practice, okay? All right, so let's get.
Hey, Danny.
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Danny.
Paul, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny you should mention role playing. Like, I got solicited this past week by, and no offense to anybody who's with this company, if anybody is, John L. Scott, and they basically said that they were looking for affiliate referrals because they had too many listings, and they weren't trying to get me to join their company or anything. They just literally wanted to have me listen in on this thing to see if I was interested in receiving listing referrals. So I said, sure. So I went on the call, and it was totally not what they said. It was role playing. It was like inside sales agent role playing, and it was like the corniest shit I'd ever heard. And I hung up. Like after 5 minutes, they called, why'd you hang up? I'm like, well, first you told me that it was going to be this, and it turned out to be this, and I'm not interested at all in listening to a bunch of people role play because it's not real, you know. And I don't need it. I have a sales training call with my coaching group that I go on every Friday. That's actually really helpful, and they got all kind of offended and blah blah blah. But anyway, yeah, it's really corny. It doesn't really work because it's not real. It's basically you're placating, I think, more or less to the person on the other side. If you're role playing the script that we use with the name and the question mark at the end, and then you go right into your offer, you know, the gift, I think that's helpful to make sure you have all the beats, the first beat, second beat, and third beat, if you get to that appointment beat down. But, you know, the other stuff I just think is kind of garbage.
Yeah, well, the danger in it is this. The more we practice not real, when somebody fires a real bullet at you, it's a lot different than somebody like firing blanks at you, right? I mean, it is. So the faster we can get veterans built in the pit, the better off. Anyway, let's go to the next one. I appreciate the comment, Paul. Here we go.
Hello?
Good morning or good afternoon. I'm sorry. Is this Patrick?
Sure is.
Hi, Patrick. My name is Karen, and I'm with Allen's Luxury Homes. I'm calling you because I saw your beautiful home online and noticed that it didn't sell. So I'd like to send you some information that will help you sell it next time. May I do that?
I chose not to sell it. I could have sold that thing in 30 seconds.
I'm sorry, you're not going to sell now?
Yeah, I chose not to sell it. I had people begging me for it.
Okay. Can I ask you why you were wanting to sell it in the first place?
Just to get it off my hands, but there's too much rental opportunity with it, so I decided to keep it.
Oh, okay. So you're renting it out now?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so very much. You have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was nice.
You hear that? I want you to hear me do that, okay? Both of you. Do you hear me do that? Because there's a brand new person on the phone doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Now, of course, could we go back and give the exact same critique? Say his name with a question mark. You don't even have to go as long as you did. But if you do that a whole bunch more times, my dear, you can't help but be successful doing this, okay? So the two of you let go of the wheel, you're white knuckling, and do more of that. In fact, the way that you listen to him, can I tell you, may I ask you why you were doing it in the first place? Yep, it was this and boom. There's nothing here, folks. He's rented it. When there are other people that are actually still thinking, we don't need to try to say, whoa, why didn't you say this? Or why did you say this? Or what did you say? And that's all that corny stuff Paul just talked about. Next. We're looking for avatar, ideal client, prospect. That's what we're looking for. There is not the raw material here to build that. Next, 56 seconds of perfect efficiency. Bravo. Now I know you're not.
Yeah. I was so proud of her on this because she came to a conclusion, which is
Amen.
What we talked about on the call a couple of weeks ago with Max Z and Ann.
Amen.
About coming to a conclusion.
Amen. Perfect. Karen, bravo.
He will be moved to trash.
Perfect. All right. Everybody get that one? Anyone want to comment on how smoothly that was done? I love it.
Very good.
Yep. The efficiency was beautiful. Her tone is beautiful. Her pace is good. Now you can hear the little bit of an insecurity when he doesn't play the game the way she's hoping. You can hear that. It crops up. And to Gail's point, there's where some training on objections or comments or stated objections, or putbacks can be helpful. So to Gail's point, there's the moment. When you go over and you look at on the script and you look at all the frequently stated objections and the potential questions you could ask in retort, right? That's why I say, that's why you have a system. Go out there, look at those, role play those, because there's a real scenario. But she brings it to a conclusion. I love it. Bravo. All right, I'm going to speed through this today because I have a lot. Karen, keep making those calls. Alan, keep encouraging her like that. Very good. Carla.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is this going to be the first one that we can hear both sides of?
What's that?
Is this going to be the first one we can hear both sides of the conversation?
You know what? I called this company personally myself
Yep.
to make sure that this recording is so good and so clear.
All right,
You're going to love it.
Here we go, darling. Hang on. I'm excited. I'm nervous, right? First day of school.
Wait till you hear. Wait till you hear how clear it is.
All right, here we go.
The clarity is great.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that effort. I appreciate you
Okay.
you and Kyle just sticking with it.
Yeah. Yes, hello. May I please speak to Wayne Stebbings?
Speaking.
Oh, hi, Wayne. This is Carla. I'm calling from Remax Champions. I'm calling you because I saw your beautiful home online. I noticed that it didn't sell, so I'd like to send you out some information that will help you sell it next time. May I do that?
Woo!
Well, actually, your timing is very good.
Woo!
I'm just going through a court case right now for custody of my daughter.
Okay.
And I'm thinking of buying a house on the beach.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to talk this over with my brother because he's gonna go in on a house on the sand.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
Yeah.
what I'd like to do is send you our 7-step seller plan. Let me just verify your address, 19217 Oak Street in Apple Valley, correct?
That is it.
Okay, and it does look like a beautiful property. So the main reason you'd be trying to sell it is because you want to move to the beach, you and your brother, possibly.
Well, my brother lives at the beach now.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Where were you thinking of moving?
But he lives in Manhattan Beach.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking like Venice.
Oh, nice. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, then, how motivated are you to sell this?
Until I get my daughter in the court, I can't think of anything else.
Oh.
I honestly can't.
Okay. Okay, well, let's start off with this then. Let me get out the 7-step seller plan to you, along with photos and details of homes, that have recently sold in your area when you were off the market. Yeah. Okay, so let's start there.
Please do that.
I sure will.
Yeah.
And I will follow up with you, Wayne, next week.
Sure.
A week from today to make sure that you received the information.
Sounds great.
All right. You have a wonderful rest of your week.
And you too.
Thank you, Wayne.
Nice, very good.
Okay. We have to celebrate some wins here, okay? Because you all think I'm an ogre, right? That's really good too. So now let's go microeconomically and let's clean it up a little bit, right? What would you do slightly differently? But boy, again, ladies, all we can ask for as the leader of the team is an outcome that's clear. These are both crystal clear. And this is all we can ask for. You've done the job, quote unquote, so perfectly when you can stay to the formula, even when there's little aberrations, because it's not about memorizing the script and being criticized by the director for missing 2 words. As long as the essence of the thing was done, wonderful. Okay. So there's a couple of puzzle pieces that are just a little bit out of order that maybe, not definitely, could have benefited you in this conversation. However, you still, in 2 minutes and 9 seconds of efficiency, Autumn and I are talking a lot about productivity, efficiencies, and we're working our tail off at it, right? So what you do here is you nail this in 2 minutes and 9 seconds, okay? Really good. And he's a gentleman. I thought there was 2 spots. Tell me what you would do a little bit differently.
Well, the main spot that I felt, and I was a little concerned, my personality, Danny, is more like, the empathy. I'm so sorry you're going through this court.
Yeah.
What do you. I wanted to go a little bit in depth about that because I don't know how long that's going to be as far as him getting the custody.
Okay, stop. Good. Hold on. Stop. Really good.
Okay.
Really good. Let's deal with the 2 pieces of it. It's a weird conflict because you have this wonderful empathy. We can hear it in your tone. Every week, the way that you talk to other telemarketers in this training, your empathy is powerful. And I love it about you. Okay. But it talks too much sometimes. Your empathy talk, all of us. Oh my gosh, tell me what you right. the desire to become very human when we feel that empath moment, it's words, because you're a pro telemarketer. You talk for a living. You have words, right? And a lot of them.
Right.
So you have to be careful to not have that desire to use too many words. Just, but your tone, I want you to hear me say, from my perspective as your guide, I hear the empathy in your tone so well that I end up feeling it. So does he. So don't be insecure that you have to use so many words, which bridges me to my next critique. You get into discussing what's being sent to him too soon and out of order. Okay. So there's a couple things here. You come back to, I will call you next week. And it felt natural. He wouldn't know the difference. And you got the outcome. But he played along. See, that's the nice thing about a real person. This guy played along. Okay. So as he was playing along, you get away with some stuff. Whereas the last guy that Karen was dealing with, to cut her off, you might not get away with it. So that's why the order of things matters. So when you came to the end, it was so beautiful. Both of you ladies, the delivery is so smooth. You owned that like whole moment. When I say owned, I mean, you controlled it. It was authoritative in this beautiful, caring tone, which people don't believe they can be authoritative and caring at the same time. You both proved that wrong today, right? So you so you get to this moment, you say, wonderful. Let me just confirm the mailing address is this, and I'll call you next week. Finish the first beat inside the first beat. You let the finish of the first beat leak into the end. That's my critique. Finish right there. Why? Because if he rushes you, something goes wrong, you own already. I'll send it to you. Is this your address? Yes, it is. Wonderful. Okay, I'll call you next week to make sure you got it. Done. You own a follow-up call at that point. You own it. You own it. And so that conversion and process for conversion becomes so critical at that moment in time that you already own it. You've created a true, viable, good prospect. So when you meet with Kyle and you look at the spreadsheet that says this cat's name, Wayne, right, Stebbings, you can say, Wayne Stebbings, great guy, trying to get custody of his daughter, wants to move to the beach. We can probably get both sides of the deal, or at least refer it, and boom, boom, boom. You see what I mean? Like how management becomes, you're in charge of the management conversation. Autumn, this is precisely what I'm talking about, right? Is that the more that when we meet with each of you, you're in charge of the management meeting when it comes to the names, because we're asking you, defend Wayne Stebbings and tell me his story. Why is he a prospect? Because he accepted the package very willingly, and I'm calling him next week. You know what I mean? It becomes very clear. So just finish the first beat. And then Brian Buffini made the term famous because it's a great segue term. Oh, by the way, in my world, oh, by the way, while I have you, why were you trying to sell it in the first place? Why were you trying to, why were you thinking about selling it in the first place? Whatever language feels natural, and then quiet, right? And maybe he leaked that information, and I like what you did. So let me get this straight. By the way, while I have you, let me get this straight. You want to move because you're going to get custody and you like to move to the beach with your daughter? You can go there. You can go there. Don't use too many words to say it. Make it very succinct, but go there because you want to. And it's still the second beat. We need to let him have a cathartic moment. Why? So he becomes attached to it. Why do I want him attached to it? Because the information that he gives you starts to tell you a little bit about his timing. And the clarity on his own motivation, you nailed it on a scale of 1 to 10. He doesn't answer the number. He goes, I can't think about anything else until I go to court.
Yeah.
Geez, when's the court date? That's all you had to say.
Yes. That's the part that I messed up.
All you had to say, well, you didn't mess anything up, because when you call back, you start again. You start again.
Yes.
Start again.
Yeah, no, and I have it in my notes. I have it in Vulcan in the notes.
Yeah. So. See, I want to be respectful of the process you're having with your daughter.
Exactly.
That's all. That's all you have to say. That's what an empath would say. I want to be respectful of the process you're going with your daughter. But
because I could tell his voice lower.
Carla, hold on. Carla, hold on. listen to this very closely because I'm going to give you very specific
Okay.
advice that almost is like there's two things here that are, they feel juxtaposed, but they're not. They're symbiotic and beautiful when done correctly.
Okay.
I want to respect that you're going through this process with your daughter. However, I also don't want to miss out on the opportunity to serve you. So
Okay.
when is
Like
that
it.
when is that court date, and what would be the appropriate time for me to follow up after that court date? Period.
Okay. Got it. I
Period.
just wrote it down.
Right? So that's why I
Yeah.
just want your brain, because you're so good and so smooth. Slow down in slow motion and see things moving slowly. If you can slow it down a wee bit, you can see that you didn't finish the first beat and secure a prospect at its lightest stage. If you can upgrade that prospect on this very call through the second beat, because you find out the reason and the motivation is now, then you upgrade for the insightful meeting right there and then. But if you blend these together, you may very well miss the sequential order of things and miss your one call opportunity. In this case, that is not the case. He's going to be he's an appreciative guy. Well, your timing is great. Thank you so much for this. Wonderful. Send it on down. You get a little bit too salesy about what it is. Too many conversations. If he asks what it is, that's one thing. But you don't, and here's where you're out of order in the way you talk about it. If you do knee-jerk react and talk about it, just so you know, what I'm going to send you is 5 or 6 of the properties that sold around you, a little bit above and below your price, so you can see exactly what the money's buying. And I'm going to give you a copy of our plan that we customize for our sellers. Period.
Okay.
Period. If you're going to go there, or you have to go there, all of you telemarketers, don't try to do more than that. The 2 beats on what's in the package, you've all received it in the mail. And if you haven't, mail yourself one. What's in there that's interesting to them are the pictures and details of properties that sold around them, a little bit above where they expired, a little bit below. If their home evaluation is there, whatever, it's relevant. The next piece of it is the universal steps that any seller goes through. So at least they have a what to do plan for free. Your upsell is the insight that I, Kyle, Scott would add to that to customize it for their situation. Follow?
Yes.
That's it. It's that simple. So your desire to have words could hurt you. Okay?
Okay.
Less is more, but be prepared to discuss the package. What are you sending me? 5 or 6 properties that sold around you, a little bit above and below your price. It's direct from MLS, so you get all the real information, and a copy of the plan we customize for our sellers. It's all free, no obligation. Just want to get it out to you, help you sell it the next time. May I do that?
Okay.
Very authoritative, very matter of fact. It's sort of you're hitting them over the head with the logic hammer. And I'm talking about the wise guys, the ones that want to dismiss you, right? We always are training for the bad guy. when here we have
Right.
when here we have this really nice guy. And even the guy that said I'm not interested to Karen was a nice guy. Why are we always training for the bad guy? I get it though. I'll get you trained up for the bad guy. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, you do. You do, but you might be causing a lot of them too. Let that sink in. You get a lot of them, but you might be causing them. Because if you can learn to train a lot of the obnoxious people, if you can really tame them is the right word. If you can tame them, you're going to be a lot more successful. And Autumn does that. She gets a lot of high D guys that she has tamed. And we have been very successful with high D people because she's able to adapt and stick in there, right? She gets plenty of knuckleheads, say derogatory things, text her things, just duck to, let duck, water off the feathers of a duck. See you later. Next. I don't need you all to get everybody. I need you to get a small amount of them by being thorough. Just don't be the problem. And the problem can be very subtle. Oh, that guy was a jerk. Yeah, maybe so. Were you impeccable in what you could have done? Yes or no? If yes, great, you're right. He was the problem. If no, you might have triggered him. Let that sink in. Okay?
Yes.
All right, good. Really good, though. I love this. And I'm so
good.
thrilled to finally be able to hear you. Yeah. I'm so
Thank you.
We're thrilled to finally hear 2 sides of your calls. Right?
Yes. Awesome. I love this new recorder.
Yeah. All right, Ann, you are in the hot seat. We got a couple from you. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, my dear. Here we go. Billy Graham, you called the preacher himself. Hang on.
Hello?
Hi, William. This is Ann with Paradigm Realty, and the reason I'm calling you is because I saw your beautiful house online today in Marietta, and I noticed that it didn't sell. So I just want to send you a free packet of information that will help you sell for next time. May I do that?
It wasn't that it didn't sell. I took it off the market to do some additional work. And
Okay.
so I actually do have a realtor that I just saw today in San Diego.
In San Diego?
Yes.
Did you sign a agreement, a contract?
Yeah, he's actually, so he is actually the agent on my other property.
Oh, okay.
He's the buyer's agent on my other property, and so I hired him to sell my other home on Darcy Place.
Oh, okay, I see. And how long is that contract?
90 days.
Okay. So do you mind if I check back with you after 3 months, see how it went, and maybe you want a second opinion?
Sure, why not?
Okay, very good.
All right, good. Real good again. I give you one too. Real good. Like, I have to remember how far you've all come and how this system is evolving. I can't ask for much better than that. In fact, your intro is so smooth. Let's just get to, Gail brings up an interesting thing about objections. That's the word sticking in my head since you got to me, Gail, early in the call. The idea really that's interesting here is now we have this business decision moment for all my team leaders and everybody. The business decision is, are we going to try to bring Lazarus back from the dead here or not? Right?
Yeah.
It's always the tough moment, right? And we have to deal from a position of plenty. I think because I love that you asked him. So intelligent, so like your growth is starting to get looking exponential, not just 1, 2. You're increasing because the headiness to ask that question higher level. So bravo on that one really poignant moment. Okay, how long did you sign it for? Because we could have assumed 6 months. See you later, and that's lazy. You're the opposite of lazy. You say, how long? 90 days isn't that long. But in this market, it probably is if there's a problem after 90 days. But, you see, he's gone all the way to San Diego to try to get this guy. Well, that's kind of dumb, right? But that's, the guy in San Diego says, I'll get it done for you and I'll get a discount and blah, blah. Who knows what happens, right? I just don't know that I want you following up with this guy in 90 days, right?
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
Yeah,
that was my question. Should I try save it or not?
Well, there's the Lazarus moment, right? So
Yes.
The idea is, it's like, look, you have so many people that want your information and then want Adam's help. You have so many of them that are out there. Our job is to keep plowing forward, looking for them. And the ones that have real context where we can really serve are way more important. And nature hates a vacuum. If you get rid of this guy for follow-up, your vacuum or your empty space, your scientific vacuum, your empty space wants to fill it with something better. Follow?
Yes.
Okay, you sure you follow? you went, unless you were writing a note down because I can't see you. Like, I want you to understand, I don't think this is worth following up on. But that is my business decision, which I have developed over a long period of time, where I believe we are all in a position of plenty. Don't chase somebody else's boyfriend. Okay?
What
Got
was
it?
the last thing you said?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Don't chase somebody else's boyfriend. Right?
Oh, okay.
This guy is dating somebody else. You got it? And there are plenty of fish in the sea. Move on.
Okay.
Move on. Right? But bravo, because you give me the ability to have certainty to be able to say that, right? Because you vetted this. He just relisted with somebody. If he fails again, he's going to show up back in your pile anyway, right?
Right.
Okay. Good job.
Danny?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Alan.
Danny?
Yeah.
Yeah, question. So Ann, instead of saying, Danny, question mark. And then she just said, Danny, this is Ann with blah, blah, blah. And she just went into the deal and just continued on, no stop, which forced him basically to say, oh, yeah, I've already relisted it.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting approach.
Yeah. I just thought
it doesn't give them a chance to say this isn't Danny, this is Billy.
Yeah, well, well, let's go back and listen.
of-
Let's go back and listen to what you're talking about. Here we go. Hang on.
Hello?
Hi, William. This is Ann with Paradigm Realty, and the reason I'm calling you.
Yep. She steamrolls him. That's authority. She don't give a care whether he's William. He sounds like William. You William today, right? I got it. And it worked, didn't it?
It did.
So it's authoritative and it's strong, woman. Right? Love it. All right. Next up, Dennis Fox. Bravo. Really good.
Hello.
Hi, Dennis. This is Ann with Paradigm Realty, and the reason I'm calling you is I noticed your beautiful home in Marietta online today, and that it didn't sell. So I did want to send you a free packet of information that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that?
No, it's not necessary. I actually did have it sold. We had a problem with the house we were going to buy. It didn't go through. The people changed their mind.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, we don't need another real estate agent. We have other people already kept on waiting to buy it. It's just a matter of we're trying to find a place that we want to go to, and the one we were going to get fell through. We're kind of particular, and we're going to a certain place, and
Sure.
we weren't able to buy that house that we wanted. So.
Oh. Did you want to stay in this area?
No, we're planning to move out of the area. So.
Oh, just like everyone else in California, right?
Pardon?
Just like everyone else in California wants to do, right?
Yeah, well, we'll probably stay in California, but we want to get out of Southern California. Probably move up to someplace quiet, closer to the middle of the coast, the middle Central Coast area.
I'm gonna stop it. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. This is where productivity is getting lost.
Okay.
You did the job about 25, 30 seconds ago. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the theme with you today on both of these calls is stop trying to bring Lazarus back from the dead.
Right.
You did the job. You did. And that's 25 seconds. You could have said, well, wonderful. I wish you the best of luck. And just was hoping I could help you, but it sounds like you're all set. Yes, I am. Thank you. Have a great day. See you later. You've done the job. But here's what's happening. And I don't know how long this call goes on, but it's closer to 2 minutes. You take 1 full minute, which could be, and it's going to sound crazy and microeconomic, but that's what we do here. You could have made that many more dials. You could have had that many more conversations on whatever might have fit into that. You follow me? So you actually end up hurting yourself. Now, again, because we're pro level here, we're going to get that dancing on a head of a pin moment like this, where you hear it in both of these. You did a great job, but you have to become secure that when they are dating somebody else and it's all over, stop trying to steal somebody else's boyfriend. Again, one of my great analogies, Kathy Dillon, right? So there you go. Got it?
I got it.
Okay, good. All right. These are really good. I can't just tell you, from rookies to like veterans, man, good going. Maggie, I don't know if you're here. I don't see anything attached to this, but you were.
Yeah, yes, I'm here, but I couldn't. My PC wasn't working in the morning, so I just sent you a message.
Oh, good.
So
Got
you
it.
know that.
Got it. Well, first of all, I appreciate you doing that, and I look forward to getting some from you next week. Okay. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right, Sarah Corey, we got exactly what I asked for, and sorry, I did tell you I would get to you, but I had everybody get to me a little bit sooner. So we're going to go down the line today. We got Davey, Jada, and Sarah, the lineup, the big three.
And we've actually, Steve's on the call with us today too.
Good. All right.
He's listening in.
All right, good. So let's give everybody context that I wanted to hear Well, a couple things, but definitely some follow-up calls. Do I have any follow-up calls, or what do I have?
Yes. So you asked for an initial call from Dave, so we
Yeah.
got that, and then we have follow-up calls from Jada and Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah's call is a little bit longer, but she sent one in to kind of talk about what the climate is in our market right
Good.
now. and
Okay.
somebody's worried.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Big Dave, you with me, buddy boy?
Yes, sir.
By the way, I'm going to give him one of these, okay, for the most evolved player in the telemarketing training. Dave has worked very hard to become very good at this and was one of the early on adopters of a new, more patient, caring service of others mentality. And the dude just crushes it up there in Ottawa. So Dave, I'm calling you out for most improved player, evolved. Really, really proud of you and happy for you. Now let's put the accelerant down to the floor and really crank this up. Okay. Here we go. Let's listen to him.
Hi, Dave speaking.
Hi, Dave. Did I just miss your call? It's Kevin calling.
Yeah, Kevin, this is Dave. I'm calling from Metro City Property Group with Remax. Actually, in regards to an inquiry that you had at 6120 McVaugh Road. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you're looking for an evaluation of the property, and I want to provide that to you, but I actually had a few questions about the place first, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
All right. So what was the purpose of looking for an evaluation? Were you considering selling the property?
Well, eventually we're going to and then move somewhere else, but we're like in the Ottawa area. We're just trying to, we're going to renovate the kitchen and the living room first. And we were thinking the closets and stuff upstairs, but we don't know if it's really going to add value, so we might just hold off on that.
Okay. So when you say eventually, are you thinking later this year, or do you think a couple years away?
We're renovating, like we're currently in the process of doing the living room and kitchen, and then once it's done, we're going to be either listing it or we're definitely going to be looking around for houses, that's for sure.
Okay. And you think timeline on when you'd be doing that is this summer, you think?
If everything goes smoothly, it could be, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so what I would say based on what you're telling me, what I would recommend is actually having someone come by, going over the renovations that you're going to do, and then taking a look at the things that you're thinking about doing, and then giving advice on whether or not that would add value as well. And basically going from there, if it's something where you wanted to list, later this summer if things go well, or in the fall, or even next year, depending on what you think about the process. So would you be available to have someone come by maybe this week? Or?
Yeah, I'll be home.
Okay. And what works best for you, during the days or during the evenings?
Well, I just had hernia surgery, so I'm home during the day, and my wife works.
All right, I'll stop it there. I have enough to work with, Dave. Tell me what you think when you listen to it.
I think it's a decent call.
Okay.
Could be a little tidier, I suppose.
Okay, good. Go there with me, since that seems to be the theme today, tidying up. It's effective. You get there, right? It's a good inquiry. And the good news is he's the marketing avatar, right? I mean, he's asked for a home evaluation that he actually wants for a real reason. Talk about tidying it up to me.
I think my pitch could be a little bit better in terms of what we're offering. Instead of just kind of saying, we'll come over and take a look at what you're planning on doing and give you advice on that, and also kind of talk about the 7 steps.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely right. You nail that. Okay. You're not clear. The atrophy here, or the snapback effect, is you've gone back into just being good on the phone. You know what I mean? Like, you're just good. You're smooth. It makes sense. Hang on one second. Carla, can you just watch that mic? It's a little bit noisy. If you don't mind muting for a second, I'll mute you. Okay. So the idea here is that why we go through every scenario. So you have a home evaluation, right? And guy misses you and you come back. What did it look like athletically, Dave, is my term, as you know. when you went to talk to him, is there any visual that you have that's keeping you honest?
Like
script, beats, something written out?
It's all in my head.
Yeah. Okay. There's the issue. Because it sounds like it's all in your head. And you end up groping for stuff and you lose that total control that you really would like to have over this, right? So let's just imagine that we open up the seller qualifying questionnaire, because that's pretty much what you'd want to know. Because when somebody's asking for a home evaluation and you're qualifying what it is, it's really a qualifying of a question. It's not an outbound to try to get information yet, right? It's almost like a presumption. Yeah, you wanted an evaluation. Let me ask you a couple questions here. Number one, what is the evaluation for? Well, why does that matter? Well, it'll matter whether we're trying to evaluate it for sale right now, or you're trying to get a general idea of what it could be now or down the road. That's legit, Dave, right? That's legit. So if you have a clearer answer to that, that might be the thing that somebody pushes back on that type of a lead. That type of a lead is that type of a lead, period. They ask for home evaluation, whether it's Bold gets it for us or we get it off of opt-in site from somewhere else. They want to know what their house is worth. We just don't know why yet. Okay? So we have to really go back to be of service. So what's missing here, Steve, Sarah, and Dave, is this initial moment to serve. Think Amazon. Where's the Amazon fulfillment moment? Hey, Dave, Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because you requested an evaluation of your property online, and I wanted to get that out to you. But to make it as accurate as possible, I'd like to ask you a few questions. And I'm not even going to, there was too many question marks there. You were asking permission too much. He asked for it. You interrupted us. That's a great thing about an inbound lead. You interrupted us this time. So I'd like to ask you a few questions. First of all, and you could warm them up. You don't have to go right into why are you doing that? Because that sounds sneaky, like you want to know whether he wants to sell it or not. So I could even make an argument that that question doesn't belong at the beginning. We crescendo to it so that we can offer the insightful visit. So Dave, tell me a little bit about the property. It's in this area, and I see it's this. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? How many square feet? Real stupid basics, right? But you got them talking about the product that you're going to send an evaluation. Now, what you know is that the offer is the same one as the expired. It's the same one as a probate, the same one as anything that they sell. Because without us visiting, there's no true market evaluation. So all we can do is accumulate the right information and give them our plan. And that gives them an idea of where the range could be. Now, when he gets into all this other, I'm thinking about doing this and this. Well, great. Let me just get you this information package together. But let me ask you, you were thinking about doing some renovations. Were you thinking about selling it soon? You give them too much coaching. You want to do it now, 2 years, too much coaching. We want to be able to ask a scripted question that provokes him to answer why you're trying to do it in the first place. And that doesn't come out here, right? We'll listen to it again so we hear all of this. And I'm not going to answer all of this right now, but Sarah, Steve, Dave, I recommend you go to the seller qualifying questionnaire as a cheat sheet for these outbound, they came inbound first, but these outbound calls for home evaluation. It's just not as organized or tidy, like Dave says, as it could be, and it needs to be. And
Can I just mention one thing, Danny?
Yep.
On a previous call.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah,
One more thought. In my head is never a good thing. In my head is never a good thing. In my head is never a good thing. That's called human discretion. And even in our own book of business, it's never a good thing. Forget about the company. In our own book of business, in my head, whether, oh, what happened to that guy? Or, oh, I sort of said it this way this time. Never a good thing. A system trumps every day in my head. I learned that over the years of going in and doing it in my head or trying to remember what I did in the last one. 2-hour-long presentations. They weren't saying, yes, Dave. They were surrendering, right? Get out of my house. Here's the listing, or just get out of my house. And I'm not kidding. That's what it looks like to me when I look back in time. But now it's 45 minutes unless there's some sort of an external circumstance that causes a longer conversation, because I can serve them better that way. You have to walk a ladder that's very specific. Go ahead, Sarah Corey.
Yeah, so on one of our previous calls, we had talked about asking them what the purpose was before we went in the seller questionnaire, because we have so many whimsical inquiries and tire kickers.
Fair enough. Great.
Yeah, so that's why we're asking right off the bat, because there's people who are like,
great.
Yeah, no, I'm not. And
Super.
then we just
Super.
pull off a generic one and send it to them.
I'll bite. And there's the point of talking about it. But it needs to be written down for everybody who makes these calls. And then
I actually prefer the way that you had described it today.
Yeah. Well, that
was the way that I was doing it.
Yeah. Well, Dave,
and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, Dave, as long as you can still get to pretty quickly, whether it's a BS inquiry or not, great, right? Because look, at the end of the day, we do need to fulfill something if we have an ad out there, or we're not an authentic business. Sarah, right? We're not.
Right. And then if they were a whimsical inquiry, we were sending them a generic,
just
super generic report. But if they weren't, then we would go into the deeper questions.
Perfect.
So that we were moving them along.
Yeah, but he can still serve. Right. Remember, Dave is the frontline guy. Let's do it both ways. Let's listen to both calls, because the boss of this call is none of us here. It is the consumer and how they behave and are served. And ultimately what we get in return is to know who's real so we can upsell them and not. Now, I'm not going to solve that, formula. We'll share it with everybody, but I think, that's a good use of our time, gang. Maybe next week, instead of our regular call, we book, maybe an hour with the three of them and Steve and you and myself, and we kind of bang this out for everybody. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. This is good.
I have a question, actually.
Sure. Go ahead, Dave.
There are times where I'm speaking to those whimsical people.
Yep.
And I find that it's an efficient use of my time. I'm really quick on the computer.
Yep.
And when I'm talking to people, I pull up all sorts of data and I'm looking at it live. I find it's pretty efficient use of my time if someone has something that's really cookie cutter and they're not looking to sell their home at all, they're just curious, blah, blah, blah. Instead of preparing a package or preparing an email, I literally have the data right in front of me. And I say, your neighbor sold for X, this neighbor sold for Y, this neighbor sold for Z. What do you think of those numbers? Do you think that's appropriate?
Well, I do to this extent. If you can tell me that you fulfilled for the company like that, and that whimsical inquirer feels satisfied, I think it's awesome. Oftentimes what we miss, the benefit, the extra benefit of telemarketing is the spread of goodwill of the company and the name, right? So sure. I mean, Dave, the best thing is to have something that just leaves a little bit of a footprint. So if you want to bang that out, Dave was a nice guy. And then we hit the button and the generic one goes out. We double whammied him and it's all inside of X number of seconds. Now, again, Dave, take that accordion and squeeze it down on those whimsical inquiry people the best you can, right? We don't want to waste a lot of time. That's why I said it's sort of that Lazarus moment with you too. If you can be of service and you can fulfill for the company, you've done the company well, Dave. But you begin to hurt you and the company if we go too far. So I'm all for fulfillment. Don't blow them off, Dave. If that's what you're asking, I'm with you. But just, it's Goldilocks. You need the bed to be just right. The time would tell me that, okay? Stevie, go ahead.
What I mean, though, is like, I feel like the time spent just telling them live, your neighbor sold for X and this other neighbor sold for Y is a more efficient use of my time than creating a package or collecting the data and sending an email to just a whimsical person.
Look, I'm going to leave that business decision to us all sleeping on it. I hear you, and I wouldn't disagree with it.
Okay, perfect.
I think it's a good solution.
Steve,
yes, Stevie, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off there.
No,
just want to get back to the call because I'm the one who went on that appointment.
Yep.
I'm just curious as to how important you think it is. For example, I mean, I feel like it's a good appointment, but there were certain things that could have been qualified better. I mean, And I mean, I've heard Dave ask these questions before, so I just think it was like a one-off in terms of maybe missing a few things. But number one, these people needed to buy as well. So how important is it getting details in terms of what they want to buy, et cetera, et cetera? And number two is, how important is it to ask them, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, if they've been working with any other agents or anything to help them through the process?
Yeah, well, I think in the home evaluation, when he sets up an appointment to do that, he should he should transition out of the fact that, this guy's going to do some renovations and you're going to give him advice into, hey, have you been talking to other agents about this? Sure. And Steve, if I think he just prints, again, I'm just going to repeat, I agree with where you're going. Now the question is, how far is too far where he becomes the real estate agent asking those questions that you should ask, right? His job is to get you into a viable scenario, and he has no say in what leads you're sending him, right? He does per se, but you, Sarah, Tarek have chosen, I'm going to pull in these leads. Dave sees what he sees in front of him. We need to make Dave's process tidy. I love that word today, okay? And what's not tidy, Steve, is he doesn't qualify this guy based on a formula. So you go in with less than what you should have, period. And I have
the sheet is very, I mean, it really, the way to just combat that completely is to just stick to the formulas, to take to the script.
Period.
I mean, if you want to spin it with your own personality, which obviously everyone does,
correct,
that's fine. But
correct.
The script needs to be adhered to because it's there for a reason.
Steve, here's how clear it should be. When you went on that appointment, you should be able to open up your folder that's prepared for you, and the seller qualifying questionnaire that Dave completed is right there for you. That's what it is for me. If Autumn or now, I get sent out by Kathy, I better have the core answers there. I'm going to throw a conniption, because you're setting us all up for failure. After all that hard work to get the names, to manufacture the appointment, to arrive there to be under-prepared in a dogfight, why? When it was so easy to stick to a formula, right? So, Steve, I'm with you. We'll tighten it up next week, but I'm with you. But Dave, you're just so good at this. It's just like we have to get Steve, Danny, Sarah, and you, Sarah Van and Jada, on the exact same page, and then get the feedback against it so that you as the frontliners say, and I like what you just said, Danny, I like the way you're doing it. Good, let's try it. Let's try it, because it still feels awkward to me to sound like what's in it for you. Hey, why do you want this? That's about us, isn't it, Dave? Right? But if I get him talking, hey, it looks like it's in this area. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? What's the square footage? Okay. Any features that you really like about the property? Any upgrades you did? Now he would have told you all that stuff. By the way, second beat. Why were you? Why did you want this? Are you thinking about selling? See what I mean?
I have a question actually.
Yeah, go.
In terms of asking them if they're working with another agent, I find that question, like I will hone in really hard on that question if they're a buyer prospect.
Mm-hmm.
If they're a seller prospect, I actually tend to forget or not ask that question. And the reason my lizard brain thinks this is, if a lot of the time when I'm having those conversations, if people are working with agents on the sell side, or they've talked to somebody with these home evaluation leads, they actually volunteered that information to me a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of the mind, and this is really silly. Correct me if this is
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I like where you're going.
That out of sight, out of mind thing, and that if they've only talked to me about the home evaluation thing, and then I say, "Oh, have you spoken to any agents about it?" I'm giving them that as an idea.
Perfect. So let's solve it, because you're right. Okay, you're just right. So, but to Steve's point, let's go back and let's serve two masters, because we can. It's the circumstances. If you know that this guy, if you follow a better formula, and, oh, by the way, why are you looking for the evaluation? Are you thinking about selling your property? right? And let him answer. And it sounds like, yep, I got to get out of here. And you start to get it. You know, that second question, now we're back where we started. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say you are? I'm a 10. Really? Have you interviewed any agents to help you? That's when it's appropriate, Dave, right? Because his context is appropriate. All of a sudden, we went from thinking maybe this guy has a long-term horizon to he's now. So we adjust, right? Now we say, oh, geez, are you interviewing other agents or is anybody else giving you advice? Now it's logical. But when it's about us, because we want to know it, you're right. You might like all of a sudden it's just too much about us. We want to know, we want to know, we want to know, we want. Well, there's a time that's appropriate to get what we want to know, but there's a time that's not. So Dave, I'm with you. And I think how we'll solve that is by getting back to a formulaic approach on these particular types of leads. Okay. Good job though. Love it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, love it. And congrats on all the success. I'm super proud of you, man. But you can see how easy it is to snap back into in my head. No good, right? No good.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We have the next one, which is the Jada. Here we go, Jada.
Hello.
Hello, Sean. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you.
Good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I was simply just checking in. Just wanted to make sure that you did receive the information that I sent via email a couple weeks back regarding the evaluation.
Yes.
Perfect. What'd you think of it?
Actually, was it?
I'd stop. Screeching brakes. Okay. This is exactly why I wanted a follow-up call. This feels very untidy, just like the first one. Sarah, Corey, Jada, in my hot seat with me. Stevie, obviously, too. Right away, in 30 seconds, I love your voice, Jada. Let me just say that. Your tone, man, I've said this to you many times. You were born with that voice to do this kind of work, right? So I love it. However, having said that, same critique on Dave. There's no structure to this call per se in 30 seconds. And 30 seconds is a long time. Over the course of a day, all these calls are being stretched out. And we perceive or convince ourselves that we're serving better by talking more. I've already said this to Carla today. Was it Carla? I think it was. That empath inside of us has too many words. It's too many words. And you can still be this person without this many words and cut to the chase. Sarah Corey, why in the world would we email something and we would call back 2 weeks later?
I don't have a good answer for that.
Okay.
If I may.
You may,
Danny,
of course.
So this was my follow-up call to the gentleman that my first phone call was, okay, yeah, I'll get this information out to you. He seemed like he was on the fence with things. So I gave him a couple of weeks ago when I gave you one of my phone calls, in one of my calls, I had said option A, option B. So in the phone call with this gentleman, I had given them those options, and then I had asked him what he preferred, and he preferred email. So that's the way that went. And then and then you'll hear the rest of the call was him opting for option 2 now. But that I had given them the option. That's why I did the email.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Okay, cool. So Steve, you with me? Did I lose Steve?
I'm here.
Okay, so Steve,
I was on mute.
Yeah, as the GM, this is a structural issue, right? It's a structural issue. There are too many things and options and all this. So the tail is beginning to wag the dog. And what I mean by that is taking Dave's first call, Jada's follow-up call, you can see all the inefficiencies and all of the options. We're making Jada's job harder for her. Dave's making his own job. And again, it's on me as the consultant, then you as the GM in conjunction with the operations manager, Sarah. It's up there first where we are responsible for these two. And what needs to happen is a much more clear offer of service to the people that have asked for something from us. Okay, so we have to clarify that first. We have to find that formula, and then we have to be able to determine the level of seriousness of purpose so that before options, quote unquote, happen, we know. So the setup call would be clearer and tighter. And the follow-up call would be much clearer and much tighter. So I love that you gave him an option. That's fine to a certain extent. But if he was serious, Jada, and we had a better opening script, and we could have determined that then I would never let you send an email versus a physical package. So it's on us to tighten up the original stuff that we're talking about. And I get it. I get our dilemma. It's extremely clear to everybody here thinking about that internet inquiry that comes in. There's a lot of whimsical inquiry in the buy side and the sell side that come from the internet. And we do not want to waste your time. We do not want to waste company resources. So we need to solve that problem in the first call. Because if this guy were serious, then what we would have done is definitely send him a physical package. And if we could have upgraded him to a meeting, we would have done it all in one. That's the best case scenario. So I'm going to listen to the rest of this, see where you go with him, so I can look back in time and say, scratch my head and say, where could we have been better? Okay?
About to call you back and ask for an appointment for the next level of evaluation. If you remember, you described for me that there is three levels of evaluation. One is like the previous one that you did.
Exactly.
And the second, someone needs to come here and look into the property, and then based on the information he or she gets, then he can or she can give us.
Okay, stop. We found our solution. Jada has our solution for the original piece. After I begin to ask the questions of fulfillment, I then give the options, Dave. That's what I say. Listen, we're not sure why you want the evaluation. So if you could tell us that, we could tell you the levels of evaluation. Delicious. Jada? Delicious. Like, there's your solution. Because we start to fulfill by asking about them and their property, and it gets us there. So we've got the hardcore stuff. Bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. What's the best feature of the house? Or even, have you done any upgrades? And what's the best feature of the house? The very emotional. Hey, by the way, why do you want the evaluation? So I can offer you the right level. Boom. Sarah Corey, write it down, memorialize it. That's going in.
I'm furiously writing.
That's going, that's how this puzzle comes together, right? So the Mad Professor, thank you to my co-scientist, Dave and Jada. There you go. That's the start of it. Now, Jada, this guy is freaking calling you back and telling you what you told him. But you know what I don't like about it? Oh my gosh, if this wasn't freaking Canada and this guy wasn't this nice and this diligent, you would have lost him because of the gap in time. You would have lost him. 2 weeks is too long. So now we got to look at systemically what happened in the first call that gave us the 2-week time frame. Or is it our internal system where we lose him for too long and the timeliness is lost? But the great news is he's loyal, super bright, this guy is, and begins to tell you all the options that you gave him, right? So it's really fascinating to me. So let's keep going.
More accurate evaluation of the property. So I wonder if towards the end of April or the beginning of May, someone can call me, you or someone else, and we can arrange an appointment for that type of evaluation.
Let's do that, Sean. Not a problem at all. I'll get a little bit more information on the property from you, and we'll definitely set that up. I'll put you in communication, and we'll get that meeting set up for you. I might.
Way too many words. You don't need to be like that, right? It sounds like you're trying to fumble with papers on your desk and you're word whiskering at him. What's going on right there? Tell me right there.
I'm not trying to be defensive at all. I was a little bit confused. The lockdown was being put in place, and I actually wasn't sure if I was allowed to book an appointment.
Okay.
So that is not being educated on current moments.
Perfect.
Which I did clarify, and I did call him the next day just to clarify that. But yes, I was definitely fumbling because I was like,
well, Jada, it's legitimately a reason why we get unathletic. So it's a legit reason. But come on now, let's get better prepared than that. You know what I mean?
100%.
So I don't think you're defensive at all. You gave me a very legitimate reason. But remember, part of being athletic, and Steve, this goes to you in that weekly meeting that I want you to have with them. What is the soup du jour? What current issues? Jada speaking up in those meetings. Say, Stevie, how would you handle this? How do we do this? What's going on with COVID? Are we stuck on appointments? Be proactive in this two-way meeting about real stuff like this. Everything will even get better. So, but it's just, you start to sound like a fumbler and you're not, right? It's like you're buying time. Why don't you just say to him, wonderful, let me just double check on the COVID restrictions.
Right. Yep. You're absolutely right.
Period. I mean, don't ever be afraid to be brutally direct and honest with that beautiful tone. What do you think? Someone's going to get mad at you? Especially where you are 29 seconds into this, what do you think is going to go wrong? You own this relationship at the moment, okay? Act like it. Law of authority, everybody. Keep putting it into these calls. Let's listen to some more.
You have to wait if we're doing it, if somebody's walking through the home, like you said, it might have to wait until after the lockdown.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
No worries,
But yes, so you're feeling motivated to sell then, is that what I'm hearing?
Based on the evaluation, yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, based on the evaluation, I can decide whether I want to sell it soon or I want to wait and then do it later. So I'm not sure yet, but I'm interested in the process.
Okay, perfect. So let's do that. Did you want me to give you that call back in a couple of weeks, and and we'll just see kind of what life looks like in Ottawa at that point?
That would be great. Yeah, towards the end of I think it's 4 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, I'm going to stop. It's like over a minute of something you could have done in seconds, right? And what that does, Jada, over the course of a day, a week, a month, a quarter, a year, is it takes the accordion and it steals your productivity. Okay. So tidiness is a wonderful word that Dave gives us today. This is not tidy towards the end. And it's really good. And you own them. And you have a specific time. Wonderful. You know, with the COVID restrictions, we're probably going to be up 4 weeks out anyway. Would May 4th be a good time to follow up? Bang. Done. Put it in the books and move on. Don't try to get high. Follow me?
Yeah.
We're talkers. You and I and the rest of us on this call, we're talkers. So our intention, in deep down in a selfish way, we want to get high. I want to talk to you today, right? I want to talk to you. Let's say, hey, what about this? Yeah, right? It's just save that for after work. Save that after work.
I think one of the main points that Danny's been talking about this entire call is just efficiency.
Totally.
Like how to be efficient. And I mean, we have meetings twice a week. We're always going over how many dials we did, how many conversations we had. And, sometimes I sound like a broken record, but that's really the name of the game. The more qualified conversations we can have with good people, the better. So we need to kind of cherish our time and respect our own time and look for the motivated. Right?
Perfectly said.
We're trying to go ahead.
Perfectly said. That's perfectly said. Stevie, I want to make a point to you, though. As a hard driver, and Tarek especially, a super hard driver, appointments, you still have to go back and teach your staff of telemarketers how. It's one thing to just say it and steamroll people. It's another thing to come on a call like this and demonstrate why it's not happening. It's the lack of tidiness, which elevates it to my issue, because I'm happy to throw it right on my shoulders first. We need a script, folks, that needs to be followed. But these are the moments where this is not scripted. This is on you, right? Don't waste your time like he's saying. Respect your own time. Perfectly said, Steve. All right, let me keep moving here because I got.
It's not like the calls aren't bad.
No, they're very good.
They're good.
They're very good.
They're just like Danny said, they could be just polished.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I've got a couple more. Maxie, are you still with me? Were you able to hang in there that long? Maxie? Might have gone too long to keep Maxie. I've got Sarah Vance.
I'm here.
Okay, Maxie.
Hello.
I'm going to do everybody's call today. So I've gone way OT, but I'm going to stay on until I do Sarah's next and yours last. Okay. So you stay right there.
Okay.
Because I appreciate all of you taking the time to do this. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, is this Christopher?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you? My name is Sarah. I'm calling from Metro City. I'm with Remax. I've spoken to Jesse a few times. I know that, I connected you guys with our mortgage broker at Referral Mortgages. I'm just calling to see how things are going.
Things are actually pretty going slow right now. Like, to me, the prices of houses are stupid. I don't know if you've noticed it or anything like that, but it's like, I think with the times and stuff like that.
He's right.
I might be backing off on buying a house right now. It's just, it might be just out of my reach for the next little while because
He's
of
right.
the price and fluctuation or what the hell's going on.
Now, are you
I love this
seeing
guy.
that for what you guys were looking for, a property and a lot that's ideal for what you need, are you noticing that price is going high, or you're seeing that in general?
I'm just noticing overall all prices basically going up. You sit there, I was looking for rent, I'm looking for places, like just doing my due diligence and going through a lot of stuff, right? And it just seems like prices are like, to me, they're crazy. I think they're 150K above asking. So I thought maybe I'd wait it out a little bit because of the COVID times, and then I think eventually I could be wrong, right? Just like how you don't put your money in Bitcoin. I was wrong about Bitcoin skyrocketing. Like, I could see the price of housing maybe going up, but I just see with all the times that are tough right now, I might have to just back off a little. That's why I haven't really been getting involved. I did get my pay stub and stuff. I did talk to him. Maybe I should have called him back and just said, hey, listen, man, I just don't know about the times right now. Just trying to juggle too many things right now.
Right. Well, that's fair. And that's why we wanted to kind of go down that avenue first, because we want to see what that actual buying power is. Because once we determine what that number looks like and what, he
basically gave me an approximate number with like, I just gave him numbers, right?
Okay.
He said I probably.
All right, let's stop it there because I think you wanted me to hear that issue. Correct, ladies?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you hear that issue, what are you hoping I will teach you?
I'll leave that to you, Sarah. That was your call.
I think that was a good example of what I've been dealing with. And I think a lot of the buyer calls that we've been doing, there's been a lot of us having to kind of break that myth that, it's crazy right now, but let's look at what your situation is.
Perfect.
Stop.
Stop. Perfect. Okay. You got there sooner than I thought you would. So if that's what you want to do, what could you do to stop all of this that's going on with him right now? He's funny. He's a character. I love that he's open with you. But this conversation is going to stretch on and you're losing control of it. So you need to come up with something. Now, think system. We talk about it every single week here. And we mostly talk about it on the sell side and we ignore it on the buy side. What information could you do to bring this to real? What could you do?
Offer him the buyer package.
What's in the buyer package?
It's the 6-point strategic plan. Where
Forget
it goes with
that.
your
Forget
features,
that.
things like that.
Forget that. You're already rocking on it. It's what he needs. That's not his issue. Let's go real. That's the good thing about not role playing here. This is real. Your issue is this guy, he says it multiple times. The word is seems. It seems. I perceive. It seems. I believe. I think. None of that is factual, is it?
Yeah, so I'm a big on trying to understand what the actual issue is and not just all the words he's using as a defense.
Hold on. I'm losing the fish. I had you reeled in. Okay. Don't run the line on me. In the buyer package and in the seller package, there are two major pieces of information. One is the plan. That's what they need. It's secondary. It's what we will do and customize. What is primary to what they want? Sometimes they don't even know it, but they want it. What else is in the package on top of the plan? I've already said it today. State the obvious.
Their why?
No. It's information. Steve, Sarah, here's where we're not having training in Ottawa about the package. This is your biggest opportunity as trainers up there. Your team does not know that package solidly. Got it? And it's not their fault. It is on me. And now it is on you each week. They must understand that in the package, that is everything to this systematic approach. Sarah Van, it's even simpler than you think it. It's not some kind of brainy answer. They want pictures and details of properties that sold so they know what their beautiful words, Sarah Van, buying power actually is buying. And they can then look at the details and say, in spite of all the craziness that you just went through, would you have bought this? Because that cat bought that last week. You got it?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, here's the smoking gun. You perceive, it seems that everything's out of control. So you perceive you can't get a good deal in a hot market. Let me send you some pictures that sold. What did you get pre-qualified for? What was the number? Because here's what we do. Don't blow off my lender. Get pre-qualified. Call them back. Get me the number. Because once I know what you can buy, I'm going to send you some pictures and details of what sold, and you worry about us trying to find you the best property in a hot market. That's what our guys and gals in the field do really well. Got it?
I love that.
Yeah, it's simple. We're always trying to we're coming in side doors and back doors and parachuting down. Come through the front door with the truth. You might be right. And that might not serve me, but I'm here to serve you. So I'm taking you through my buyer plan. I'm acting as your rep. I kicked you in the tail to go get pre-qualified just like we would so that I can then match you up your buying power with the sold features. That's the buyer plan. 1, 2, 3. You're doing it perfectly. But you're undertrained in that moment to say, here's what's next. So what'd you get qualified for? Great. Now here's what we do next. I hear you. You might be right. But let me send you some solds that shows you what that buying power actually bought if you had bought right now. Then you will tell me whether that seems reasonable or not. That's it. You're walking right down the pipe. It's perfect. You just are lost. You don't even realize how well trained you are. Yeah?
Yeah, because usually what we've been doing is, what I've been doing is I set them up, I give them access to a realtor account so they can see exactly based on what their price point is, what that real estate looks like.
Don't wait for them to do it. You're a matchmaker, my dear. If that's his issue, before he will go to an appointment, say, look, here's some properties that this money bought. Would you have bought any of those? Did you like any of those? That's the best you can do. But what just happened was not the best what you can do because you're disconnected from the pictures and details. I want everybody that's still on this call, pictures and details, write it down somewhere. Every buyer and every seller needs you to curate and organize pictures and details that relate to their house they're thinking about selling, the house they're thinking about buying, period. Start there, then the plan, okay? So there you go, gang. Up in Canada, we tidied up the house, Dave. That's what we did. And we will do it next week too. Sarah, Steve, and the three amigos, we will tighten this up so that you're not guessing like this anymore. Okay? No more guessing. Good job, guys.
Can we be Larry, Curly, and Mo?
Yeah, that's you said that. You might get your butt kicked by the two women, but Dave, I'll let you throw yourself in the ring with those two. You're talking some tough feline right there. Be careful, boy. Right? All right, bravo. I love the three of you, and I'm so proud of everybody up in Ottawa on that team. You're pros. You lead us with a lot of example. You do a lot of volume, but you can see no matter how big or small, brand new, it's got to stay tight, right? And Autumn wrote her favorite word in the chat. Concise is the word that we always throw around. All right, one more, Maxie.
Hello.
Maxie, how are you, my dear?
I'm good.
Okay. We got a little echo there. So hang on. I got a couple here from you. Let me take one.
I sent you 3.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Pick the best one.
We could use the third one because that's a good avatar, I would say.
Awesome. Is that Jared?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Let's do this and we'll call it a day.
Okay.
Hang on. It's taking a second to open up. Come on, Jared, pick up.
Hi, Jared.
That's great.
Is this Jared?
Yeah.
Good morning. This is Maxie with Wise Barth and Associates. I see that you're registered at our property search website, SeattleHomeBuyersGuide.com.
Delicious.
I wanted to check if you're receiving the right properties. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I see here that you put in Kent and Seattle as your areas of choice. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. I don't really live right now there, but I'm trying to buy close to Kent. What are the other ones?
Kent, Seattle.
Yeah, something like
Okay. You put in here for 3 beds, 1 bath, and maximum price point at $660. Is that right?
I'm looking something like has a basement,
Okay.
with a kitchen, stuff like that, if you have it. And 3-4 bedroom is good for me.
Okay. So 3-4
If you have
beds.
something like that, huh?
3 to 4 bedrooms, home with a basement too. Is that right?
Yeah, someone could live there in the basement. Yeah, with a kitchen, stuff like that.
Okay. Let me get that set up, Jared, so it's coming for you. And I wanted to check too, why were you looking to make a move to Washington?
Oh, I have, I don't know, I like Seattle, eventually I'm trying to settle there.
Awesome.
And I have family right there, so.
Oh, okay. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you into buying?
I am ready to buy. I could put 20%, stuff like that.
Come on, Maxie, bring it home.
Great. So just to check if that perfect property comes in the market, say in Seattle or in Kent, that's something that you'd be willing to jump in ASAP if it's the right home.
Yeah, exactly. It's the right place. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have a real estate agent to help you when the time comes?
I know someone, so yeah, maybe.
Okay. Are you committed to working with that agent, or are you still open to interviewing other realtors?
I'd rather be open to another realtor.
Good. Keep going. Come on,
I have an
baby.
agent, so maybe he knows better.
So, okay. So you said you have someone, or you have an agent. Are you committed to working with that someone, or are you still pretty much open to working with other agents?
I'm kind of open, but I have an agent too, so whatever.
Push him. Just push him. Close him.
All right. Well, Jared, this is what we do for the people that visit our website. There's a different platform to keep you updated with hot listings that only matches your criteria. Just to share, the website is called Northwest MLS, nwmls.com.
Okay.
It's basically a realtor's website. It's where we get our hot listings from. So what we do for the people that visit our site is that we set you up with your own private portal there to ensure that you are receiving listings that are active, that are relevant, and that only matches your criteria, right? So you don't need to so you don't need to be receiving hundreds of emails of homes that may or may not even fit what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? And you might want to ask, so Maxi, what are these listings that you're talking about? These are homes that are either brand new to the market, those that are coming back to the market too. So for example, if there's a house or a property in Kent that fell through, if there was a price change, any of these will trigger an email notification to you right away. There is no cost for this, no obligation whatsoever. Will that be helpful for you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Great. When can we get together for a virtual phone meeting so we can take down exactly what you're looking for? I'd be happy to connect you with my business partner who specializes in these areas that you're pretty much interested in. If you have an availability for a virtual phone appointment, say tomorrow or on Saturday, I'd be happy to connect you with him.
Yeah, weekend be nice. I'm at work right now. This is my work phone, actually. So.
Oh, it is? Oh, so are you a morning or an afternoon person on a Saturday or Sunday? What's a better time?
Okay. I love it. I'm not bored, Autumn. I get it, though. I'm not bored, though. I think that she's obligated to Duran's desire to articulate it. I do agree that there was one spot in there, Maxie. You gotta tidy this up also a little bit there. But man, couple super improvements here. One, you sound wide awake. Okay. And we talked about this now for 3 or 4 weeks. You sound wide awake. You are incredibly deliberate, passionate, and clear. Bravo. Okay. Those things are just perfect, spot on. I know Duran's offer that he wants you to go through is long. You do it well, but there are times there I think you ad-libbed. I think there was a couple of moments where you stretched it out and it went from being a long offer that's effective to boring to those listening. Okay. So not to this guy because he has context and it sounds like it, but it was there's still too many words in what Northwest MLS is and does. It's too much. And you almost slipped up and started to act as if you were the realtor giving some of this, right? One last final critique. I can hook you up with my business partner that specializes in these areas. If you know it's Kent, say Kent. Follow me?
Yeah. Yep.
Always personalize once you're there, because what's happening is you go from a super personal feeling to this very generic offer and your voice changed. You sounded like a recording, and it was beautiful still. You have a wonderful voice. It was articulate. I understood it. But I lost Maxie again, and she became the sort of automaton repeating the offer. And I think that's the problem with a long offer. It's really good. And remember, Maxie, we're talking pro-level critique here. You get the job done. And this guy really needs to go. It's just you fought with it too much. Well, wait a minute. Do you want a realtor? Maxie, if you think there's an inch, take it. Okay? Don't try to be so compliant. Well, Duran, I didn't get the exact answer. Duran, I got an inch and I took it. Somebody can steal this guy. Period. Got it?
Yep.
So I want you to go back and listen to this, make some notes for yourself. But my dear, this is effective. Again, here we go. You're making this company money by getting these types of appointments. This guy is ready to go. He volunteered 20% down. Somebody get a cougar or a lion on this guy ASAP. Okay?
Yep. So
Good.
The meeting went through. We got the application already in.
Of course you did. Yes.
So the OSA, it's just up to the OSA to follow up.
Bravo. Bravo. Of course you did, because you're good at this. This is effective. That's money-making activity right there. That's what matters, effectiveness. But I get the critique is it's just too many words.
Yeah. Yep.
right? It's too many words. So, but you got them and you closed them because that's what I was hoping for in the end. Just be careful. He was forgiving. Just be careful it's not too much. Okay?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, everybody, that's enough. We went super marathon today, but I wanted to serve, and I had a lot of people come in here. And again, I'd like to see new names too, and I'll bubble those to the top. Karen will be looking for her stuff as she gets evolved out with Adam. We want to be an equal opportunity call here each week, but wow. Am I impressed, and I am thrilled. Everybody kind of following this methodology and tightening up, it just keeps getting better. So thank you all for being here today. Go out and continue to practice this stuff. Get those follow-up calls recorded too, not just the initial ones, okay? And I'll see everybody on the other side. Thanks so much for participating and being here today. Have a safe and healthy weekend. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, all.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye.